Hello everyone, Jesse Webb, TradersPro. Market conditions moving up to mildly bullish. In a bull market, we skipped right over mildly bearish, which is good, and continuing this overall uptrend. We've got this long-term uptrend in place. We've been retracing that. Now we're working on building a bottom right here and seeing some nice constructive moves. We've talked about this move yesterday and in the last few days, working on positive sentiment, but now we've got momentum, had that divergence on momentum, price activity on S&P 500, which had reached a new low. So you have price making a new low and you have momentum not making a new low, which is called divergence. Same with breadth right here. So those certainly were positive. You need that formation to start to happen, obviously, but as it was happening, we were focusing on that and being able to talk about this location, this possibility for a bounce right here at these levels. Now we've seen momentum moving back up into this trending range, breadth moving aggressively as well. This is a really nice rally that we're seeing here, and we're also getting lots of confirmation across multiple indicators. We're getting a buy-sell ratio, which has moved back up now to 0.27 and starting to move back together aggressively. This is exactly what we want to have happen. When those start to get too wide, they just don't last. So as we're looking at buy-sell ratio a few days ago at 0.01, 0.09, those levels are just unsustainable. We did see some price activity slide just a little bit more, but essentially in the last day or two, we've recovered that. Futures look like they're up about 20 or so as of now. That can certainly change, but we're at 0.27. We also saw a pretty strong bounce off of the bottom on sentiment, so a pretty constructive move here. We're also seeing sectors really getting almost short-term trends across the board up. We're just seeing a handful now. We're seeing some sells, but moving back into hold. This is that early stage. That's part of the reason why we've seen them tick back to mildly bullish. And so we're seeing some good things here. These are good areas to start to be focusing and accumulating, looking for opportunities that you may want to be getting into. If we take a look at, in fact, one of the areas that's really moving and really moved strongly here is construction. And inside that construction, we saw some pretty strong moves yesterday in residential. And these are stocks this is an interesting move because residential real estate, residential home builders are going to be really sensitive to interest rates. So whether we see, and we actually saw another pretty big move in TLT, we'll talk about that, but we're seeing home builders kind of igniting right here. That's a really solid bar on Beazer. Beazer had this big run up, pretty nasty sell-off, decent retracement. Let's look at the 1-year time frame on that, and now pulling into that 50% range and getting a confirmation bar. This is a really, really nice looking bullish pattern right here for home builders, particularly this one, BZH, uptrend, retracement, 50%. It held 1, 2, 3 times right here, and now you're getting a confirmation bar moving out of that zone and looking for some more upside. So keep your eye on home builders. These were those top three really had strong, similar type moves: MHO, Beazer, Pulte, and that's a good looking chart pattern there. Not quite as deep. Beazer was a little deeper, 5.0 retracement. So you're seeing Pulte getting a nice move also, and then KB. Really, all of those, DR Horton, KB Home. Smooth patterns, really nice looking trending type of stocks as well, where they move from that yellow and green and then in the downtrend from yellow to red. So now we've switched back to green. DR Horton here as well, letting that pull up. Nice 50%, all very similar charts, all really nice looking patterns for home builders. And that actually has moved that sector, the construction sector, into the #1 rank in terms of the group of stocks now. The entire group of stocks has got the highest average rank of 69 in the database, and so could see a move right here of investors anticipating interest rates to be coming back down, which could create some more demand for home building. That's a part of the theme, part of the story to try and build out as markets are shifting. What are the opportunities? Let's look at let's actually look at the indexes and see if we've had a move. So we saw the Dow Jones bump. That was around 2 the last couple days. That's bumped up here aggressively. We're seeing buy-sell ratios coming off the bottom as well, which we want to see. We wanted to see those were down 0.0, 0.08, 0.05, 0.10. Now you're back up into that 0.30 level. Remember that above 1 means that you have, or 1 equal means that there's the same number of buys as there is sells. Okay, so if you have right now, you can see that utilities has got a 4 because there's 4 buys and 1 sell. It skips over the holds, but as those adjust from one to the other, then it's taken into account. So again, everything is adding up here, and for more demand. A lot of times these rallies, when they start around these levels, you start to get 2 things. You get fear of missing out, and you get short covering. You get both of those things, which create additional buying demand. Right here, you get early entry, then you get FOMO, then you get short covering, which could accelerate this rally. Let's look at muscle stocks here. COCO, which has got a nice pop back up into that momentum zone on the 1 year. Let's go to the 6 month. Got a little bit of work here. This has been a relatively volatile stock as well, which is consumer staples in the beverage industry, and had a really nice run, as we can see from that 1 year. Retraced to that 382 and has been moving back up. So I'd keep an eye on COCO, which is a nice looking momentum pattern. OLMA, this is one that moved from hold to buy, had a sell-off, and then back in again. This is a good example of exiting a trade that could be a potential loser, and then being able to jump back into it. There's nothing wrong with that, having a buy, getting stopped out, and then re-entering. Okay, you have to just that happens. Just let it go, move back on. The trend is shifting, and there's opportunity there as well. So that first buy signal, this is a solid breakout. Pretty big move on that breakout, though, 12%, and could see some continued momentum. May need a retracement, possibly a retest. If it could even pull back a little bit and retest this area, you can see how many times it bounced off of this resistance area, and now it's broken up above that. That's very positive for a momentum stock like this. VRT, IT services, bouncing off of the momentum zone here as well, where you've got this support range. Here's your swing high and swing low. Finding support at 36.51 and looking for some continuation there as well. Lots of things, lots of stocks moving here now. It's going to be tough to make a choice whether you want a handful of them or 1 or 2 or 3 of them. There's Beezer in the top of the list. CGH bouncing here. Again, some of these that have these deeper retracements on the 6 month, even this, those are really, really volatile stocks, but sometimes the reward to risk pays off as some stocks really start to light up here. Another construction, MHO, we talked about in that group. Now that really is kind of the top of the list right there. Oil, lots to be watching for. We saw some good news from AMD. I think that's really part of the news that's taking the stock market higher. And keep an eye on that. Let's look at some ETFs. See if we've got any new buys in that list. We do see uranium has been doing well, and miners have still been doing quite well. That's an interesting pattern there on your uranium ETF, as it's entering that momentum zone. So if you're looking for ETFs, exchange traded funds, this is a great way to focus on things that are starting to move as well. And it's typically a basket. It's either tracking a group of stocks or it's tracking an index. There's a lot of different choices in there now with all kinds of crazy ETFs that keep popping in terms of things that they're tracking. So that'll do it for today's update. If you don't have full access to the site and software, there's a link below in the description that you can get signed up, and we look forward to having you. Have a great day today.